This is our fifth part of our Love and Venus workshop. Welcome, everyone. So, today we will talk about some additional stuff related to Venus and not only. So, I want to mention other things that are also relevant if we want to understand more about our personal life, about love in general, relationships, and so on. In terms of Venus, first, let's continue this topic. One of the really important things that I've been working with recently is related to Venus phases in our solar return charts. This is extremely interesting and can kind of like reveal even more about our repetitive patterns. That's the specific thing that in our solar return charts, there are cycles. So every 8 year, Venus falls into the same position. And through this, we can explore, first of all, we can connect, we can link different events in our life from different times. But also we can understand more about basically what are we actually repeating. And this is also like a whole other story that we can find about our personal life. And basically here, the most important is to explore your own story because each story will be different. We can't divide this into, like, for example, the aspects, or to talk about, signs on the cusps of houses, and, like to mention all of the possibilities. We can't list all of the possible options of, what could be your Venus story. That's why I recommend just to explore it for yourself. Year after year, you calculate your solar return charts. You check where is Venus each year and also where it falls in your natal chart. This will be important. For example, let's say that every 8 year, your Venus is in second degree Cancer, for example, whatever, somewhere in the chart. And then you check, okay, where is this in your natal chart? Where is this second degree in Cancer? Because this is what will be repeating. In the solar return chart, it could be different. Sometimes this Venus in second degree Cancer can be in first house, sometimes it could be in 10th house, but in the natal chart, it will activate the same point. So that's what we are really interested in. So we calculate those phases and we explore what is triggered, in which house it falls, but most importantly, what are the aspects with planets, and if there are any conjunctions with cusps of houses. Because in this way, we will find which topics and basically what is this energy that seems to repeat in our life. And yeah, this may take a while. And what's really helpful also to remember the previous events in your life. When something important happened, especially things like, meeting a new partner or starting a relationship or breaking up or a marriage or anything that was significant in your personal life, to remember when was that approximately or precisely, if you can remember, and then to try to link it with the solar return chart, because this will show you again more kind of like behind the scenes. What was this process really about? So I highly recommend you to do this exploration. Venus personal analysis or overview. The other thing I wanted to talk about are additional indications that we should consider, which are also relevant to our personal life. And the most important houses are fifth and seventh house. Fifth house is the house of romantic love. Seventh house is the house of serious relationships, basically where we meet with someone else, where we are supposed to be equal. And this is something well known. This is nothing, surprising or innovative. Um, we know very well that we should always look at fifth and seventh house. But I want to bring a bit of a different, not different, it's just a deeper perspective, specifically about, well, let's start first with fifth house. Um, Fifth house is really the house of, love, falling in love, the first, stage when you are kind of like, attracted to someone, when it's about, the fun part is the most important. It's not about responsibilities yet. It's not about anything heavy, or at least it's not supposed to be. It's when, you just meet someone, you are interested, you are attracted, you fall in love, you like the person. That's fifth house. And what is the additional thing? Fifth house is the house which more generally represents our attitude and our openness to life. So from here, it's important to understand that as much as we can be open to life, that's how much we can allow ourselves also to love someone or to be attracted or, to basically experience something deeper on this level. From another point of view, the same thing would sound as if we can't fall in love or if we are not falling in love. Behind this, there could be some kind of detachment from life. So, if you want to be more open to love, it could be in your current relationship if you have a partner or if you want to find a new partner. One of the starting points is to check, to see, to try to maybe change it. How open are you to life in general? How involved are you in life? The fifth house energy in its, strong and also pure expression feels like passion for life. And this passion for life can be expressed in different shapes and forms. Sometimes it could be through something you like and you love and you are passionate about. So it doesn't always sound like, just like with those words, oh, I'm so passionate about life. Or, this is not always, or I would say actually, most of the time, it doesn't sound like this. It could be about something specific, concrete. That's why whatever this is, it's extremely precious. It may sound like, that's totally useless. Why, I'm doing this, for example, I can't earn money with this, or, nobody cares about this. But if you really like doing it, then it's really important to keep this in your life, not to devalue this, not to devalue yourself, not to, and it could be challenging because, with time, when we mature, we may become kind of like more practical and we may abandon some of the things that we used to love. For example, let's say that you used to love dancing, or could be anything, baking, gardening, drawing, really doesn't matter. Why are those, whatever you call it, hobbies or interests or things that you love doing? They are important because through this you keep this energy inside of you. That's what's important, not the actual baking or, whatever it is you are doing. That's what makes it meaningful. That through this you keep and you can nurture and you can even grow this energy of love within yourself. And then this also allows you, to have to be capable of feeling this energy in general, about life. So, especially, well, actually, it doesn't matter. Even if you have a partner or if you don't have a partner, in whatever case, wherever you are, um, if you want to kind of like, develop, if you want to expand in this direction, I mean, openness, love, potentially your relationship, current or future one, then try to focus on those things that you really love doing. Maybe you're still doing them, that's even better. Maybe you have forgotten about some of them, or, life is happening and so on. Try to find them consciously and try to bring them back into your life. It could be even one thing, doesn't have to be many things. But the more you feel like you are, like you can enjoy something, you can be passionate about something, the more you will have this energy for yourself and you can experience it after that in other ways. This nurtures this energy of, some kind of to be involved, to participate actively in life. Because to participate actively in life, think about it. What do you imagine if I tell you, imagine someone who is very alive? Like, what would be the image or what would be this person doing? If I say, let's imagine someone who is very alive. I think that more or less we will have some similar images. Someone who is joyful, who can, feel love and who can like something. And we may associate this also to kids. Usually for kids, it's easier to feel this. But yeah, it's very clear, like what is it to, to feel life. And again, this is the same energy which we need if we want to also feel love. Otherwise, we are just not allowing ourselves, or we are incapable. So that's why, generally, in order to be happy in a relationship with someone else, to feel this nurturing love, love which is not demanding or codependent or controlling or, all of our twisted scenarios. So, not this type of love, but this love which comes from a place of, just like something that is within you that you want to share. This is directly connected to our relationship to life, basically. But if you have enough hobbies and passion for it, but not enough time and feel overwhelmed by household and everyday responsibilities, you need to find a balance. You need to find the balance, but there could be different reasons here. One, can you allow yourself to have time for yourself, like internally? I mean, internally, can you allow yourself? And because if your hobby or interest is really nurturing, it will give you more energy for the other things after that. It will not drain you, it will give you more. So, and here again, it's not, sometimes we can be busy, if you have small kids or I don't know, businesses or you take care of someone else or mm, real life can have some kind of, specific circumstances. So it doesn't mean that we need to add more and more of the hobbies and the interests. It could be one thing. And also, that's a good question because this should not turn into another obligation. Because the way you ask the question, here the energy of this frustration is much stronger than the energy of enjoying the hobby. So this should not look like yet another thing on my list that I have to learn and I have to do. It won't work this way. So the first thing you can do is just try to relax, to accept your life. I mean, don't get more frustrated from the fact that, for example, you don't have enough time for your interests or your hobbies, because this won't help you to get out of this. The opposite, you accept, okay, and then you search for ways to, but it needs to be, from this place of, okay, I'm just doing as much as I can, doing the best I can, not to use your passion or your hobby to beat yourself up or to feel even more overwhelmed. And of course, also in your natal chart, you may find more specific answers. So there could be something which, can also give you a hint from there. So I would recommend you to check fifth house, sixth house, Saturn as well, Venus as well, because those planets can show you, this day, not only planets, but houses also. Fifth house and Venus are about the joy, the love I can experience. Sixth house, Saturn, they're more about those, life is work, and sometimes it could be, too much heaviness, too much responsibility. So your chart may show you something. I have Venus opposition Saturn and Neptune. Mm-hmm. Your Venus is in Cancer, probably. Uh-huh. Mm-hmm. In your case, there is something, there is some kind of, I would say, subconscious, we call this taste or joy, to dream about something or to feel like something is out of reach, or maybe, to distance yourself from something. And then from distance, you might be able to feel it more. When you are too close to something, it's possible that you may not feel it so well. Like for whatever reason, um, there is a need to feel this distance. Venus in 10th house. Um, from the perspective of family scenarios, I was also thinking so fourth house is connected. Those are the scenarios when usually women stay at home and they wait for their partner or their husband who goes somewhere far away and they miss him. So there are some kind of family stories related to separations or distance between the partners. And the way you are subconsciously repeating this pattern is when you love something or you like something, basically you feel some kind of detachment from this. So yeah, you can dig deeper into this, work through those um, scenarios. Yeah, sure. Interesting. So that's a big topic, and this is not rare also, to have those challenges, to allow ourselves to feel this joy, to open up to life. Um, but again, this is a really great exercise. If you want more love, or if you want a relationship, or, healthy relationship and love, you should practice this daily in your life, on your own, with your life experiences on a daily basis. And also the other thing I would recommend, Margarita, but also for everyone else who resonates with this, um, don't necessarily search for something huge. It could be something small. You can start, practicing with something small. If you don't have, I don't know, a whole day for yourself, or you can go on your dream vacation, or, if it's something that right now, for whatever reason, you can't experience, then just try to find, okay, what could be possible for me right now. It might be, I don't know, to listen to a 10-minute meditation on YouTube, or I don't know, to buy myself some kind of face mask from the drugstore, and just to feel like, I'm doing something for myself that I enjoy, or to buy myself a nice tea. Life is in the daily experiences, not in only in the vacations or the things that, happen once in a while. So the more you can fill in your life with such daily small pleasures, the better. The general idea, the general idea of this is for you to open up and to be able to feel more joy from your life as much as possible from every possible action. The mastery here is if you can manage to do this even with things that feel like obligations and not your first choice, and you just have to do them. But if you can add some kind of details or something that would feel nice, just one example that comes to my mind, let's say that you don't enjoy cooking, but you have to cook daily. Then think about, okay, how can you make this, like, buy yourself something nice that you want to, I don't know how you call those, that, the cooks are wearing, or a hat, or something that would make you feel nice, or play some music, or this is real mastery, to be able to change the things that we have to do in such a way that we start enjoying them, even if it's bit by bit. And the more we can, I mean, this is not just, some kind of, I don't know, like empty positivity, or um, this is really what helps us to start loving life more. And I will tell you from experience, that pretty much all of us struggle with this to a certain extent. So if you think, if any one of you thinks that, oh, I'm, so behind, and I'm so different, and, I suck in this and everyone else is great, I would tell you that no, it's not just you. Like, humans are like this for the most part. So in some way, it's also normal. But why not improve it and change it? And again, this will affect your personal life as well. If you're detached from life, you are not able to open up to love as well. That's the whole thing. The other thing about seventh house, um, the key here is to look at the axis first seventh house together and to try to link them to see what kind of qualities you are allowing yourself to experience. Let me think of some kind of example to illustrate this. Okay, let's just take Aquarius and Leo as an example. The axis Aquarius, Leo. Let's say that you have Aquarius on the ascendant and Leo on the cusp of seventh house. So Leo will be the sign, the energy which will kind of like, affect, which colors your serious relationships. And from one side, this brings the desire, the need to have an impressive, remarkable partner, someone you can admire, someone that you feel like, I'm so lucky to have him in my life. Like you, deeper, it brings the need to see the partner as someone great. But what is the other side of this? Because this is your chart after all. Yes, from this chart we explore relationships, but this is your perspective on the relationship. This is not about the actual other person. So this Leo energy is actually within you. And it really matters how open you are to this Leo energy inside of yourself, because this will reflect on the partner you are gonna attract, you are gonna allow yourself to have, and the way you will see the relationship. For example, if internally you don't feel confident, or even worse, if you are devaluing yourself, basically, if you think that you are not worth it, and all of those things, then you are not gonna allow yourself to attract such a partner that will represent the constructive qualities of Leo. Either you will find someone that you find, is remarkable, incredible Leo person, he will be unavailable in this case. Or if he is available, you won't be able to experience this. This need will remain unfulfilled. And the opposite, if inside of you, you might be lucky and you may have it by birth. For most of us, it's usually not so easy. It may take some work, but if you can work on those specific, the Leo qualities, so the qualities on the cusp of seventh house, and you try to develop them and balance them within yourself to feel confident, to feel that you are worth it, to feel that you deserve happiness, to basically nurture this feeling of self-worth. When you get to this point, then another person in the outside world who has, also such qualities will be able to fit your scenario, your dynamic. In other words, you will be able to have a different type of relationship. So that's why we always need to look at the whole axis. Aquarius, Leo in this example, but in any other combination as well. And we need to balance those qualities. Also, an interesting example is Cancer and Capricorn. The difference there is quite noticeable because those signs they represent child-parent relationships, basically, where we have this difference in the kind of like in the hierarchy. And for this axis, it's very typical that one of the partners kind of like gets into the role of the child, the other partner is in the role of the adult. And this is not a recipe for the best relationship you can have. So in this case, you need to balance those energies inside of you, the child and the adult within you. So in one situation, maybe you may need to take more responsibility, learn to be more strict, to fulfill your promises, to follow through, this more serious energy. Or you may need to learn when do you need to relax, when do you need to be softer, when do you need to be more flexible. The more you can expand into those polarities, the more balanced your relationships will be. And the more you identify yourself only with one of the polarities, the ascendant, or in some cases, people may also feel the seventh house energies, for example, if there are more planets there, also an option. But basically, ideally, we need to integrate the two signs, those two polarities, first and seventh house, and to be able, to kind of like switch in between. This is not so easy, of course, but then in our relationships, we won't repeat those scenarios with our partners. If the progressed ascendant has already changed to the next sign, is it important to embody work on both qualities, natal and progressed? Yeah, you can add this, the progressed signs on the cusp of seventh house. Yeah. You can look also at the rulers of those signs, check their status. This is also important. But this dynamic is, like adding something else, adding something new to the picture. Okay, if you have any other questions about Venus or relationships or love, you are welcome to ask also. It sounds really difficult because aren't most behaviors in relationships subconscious? Mm, I can answer in so many ways to this question. I'm trying to find the best approach. From one side, yes, but I would say not only in relationships. So our psyche works in such a way that most of the things that we do, we kind of like follow, and all of this are coming from the subconscious mind. And the idea is to integrate more of those parts. In other words, to make them more conscious. Then we can start controlling them. But I'm not affirming that this is very simple work. But it's meaningful. It's really helpful because, first of all, you start seeing things. You start seeing things, and again, one of the universal questions which is both very simple and yet not that simple. But whatever your life is right now, in whatever area, experience, the way your life is right now, to ask yourself the question, for what do I need this in my life? Or my life to be like this right now? Because even if it's something that consciously may seem like, I don't want this, I don't like it, and all of the stuff, especially if this is something long lasting. So if it's not some kind of situation that happened, last week, but let's start with the more, like permanent things. If they are permanent, then there is something within us that needs it to be exactly like this. And yes, it's in the subconscious mind. But when we start looking in this direction, we can get to this sooner or later. And the chart really helps in this direction, to explore anything there. I mean, you may find different answers from the chart. But the first step, and I know this is not so easy, especially if there is something unpleasant, something you don't like. And but if you accept that, okay, for whatever reason, part of me, it doesn't mean it's a very smart part, but it doesn't mean also it's a stupid part. So who knows. But part of me needs this particular experience, and to try to find why I may need this. That's how you can start getting closer to those subconscious patterns. And that's why I personally love GSR as a method, because that's how we can, transform those energies, which are deeper than what we can get to consciously. And yes, this also takes some time. There are things that, you may transform with one session, other things may take a while. It depends. We are all different. But the point is that the change is possible. And it's for me also just very, I don't know, fun maybe is not the best word, but actually I just enjoy this, to try to understand more about, okay, what could be deeper than that? What could be behind that? And this particular, analysis, an ascendant descendant, can also give you this, because usually we recognize more the ascendant. Again, unless you have some specific indications that the seventh house is too strong, but for the most part, we identify ourselves with the ascendant. This is like metaphorically our face. And think about it, the descendant is the back, but it's almost like, okay, what is behind, what is, in the background, something in a way deeper within me. And very often I project this on partners and relationships. But if I can integrate better this energy, the seventh house energy, in alignment with the ascendant, so not to switch things, the other way around, but to be able to ideally navigate through both of them whenever I need, that would be ideal. Then you will be also in control of your personal life and relationships, because you can work with this energy. So it's really, really helpful. Mhm. Okay, do you have any other questions? And I was thinking, as yesterday we were discussing, that we can start having such probably weekly sessions. And for now, my idea is to do it on Wednesday. So we'll see if we can, like define a day of the week. We'll see how it goes. But for now, that's my desire to start on Wednesday. It's Mercury's day, so but we'll see. And yeah, I can show you also more like concrete examples of this, how we do those analysis in practice. But yeah, try to focus on this, um, the connection to life, and then the integration of the ascendant and the descendant. All right, so if there are no other questions, I want to thank you for joining me. I want to wish you to open up to more love in your life, to find more about yourself, to expand more in the direction that you would like. And I think that for everyone, it's like a good direction to expand into love and self-love included. So in our Telegram group, I will also post the schedule for the upcoming sessions. Do you see a connection of Venus in mother-daughter charts? In what sense do you mean connection? Repeating patterns. It's possible. This is also one of my favorite directions, ancestral astrology, to explore the charts of different generations. I even have a course on this topic where basically you compare the charts of people from different generations and you search for some repetitive patterns. The most interesting is if you have more family members from more generations, and then if you can find or define some kind of mutual topics. For example, you may find families which are more Saturnian, or families in which Jupiter is stronger, or the moon is stronger, or and then you can define, for example, that there could be certain family members which are um, different from this. So they may not fit so well this dynamic. And you need to compare the charts for this. That's how you can find really important aspects that otherwise you may not recognize as so important. But if they are repeating, and it could be a specific aspect, or it could be a planet in the same sign, or it could be the planet in the same house. So any indication that is repeating, especially if you see it, let's say, in 3 generations, then this is major. It's very intriguing, but I don't have their birth times. If you don't have their birth times, which is the most common case, you work with the sunrise, the time of the sunrise for this day. This is when basically a solar chart, the sun gets to the ascendant. This chart works very well. Yes, for the houses, it may not be so relevant, but the other stuff will work. Aspects between the planets, planets in signs, this will work. The patterns that repeat, for example, let's say the moon squaring Saturn. it's interesting if the next generation has any aspect between the moon and Saturn. So not only the square, but any aspect between the moon and Saturn. This will show you the dynamic. Example, let's say the mother has a square between Saturn and the moon, and the child has a trine between Saturn and the moon. This is one dynamic. It shows that the energy has shifted. For the mother, it's challenging. For the child, it's already more balanced. So this is one way. The other option, it could be the other way around. The parent has a trine, the child has a square. This is more problematic for the child, and something might have been misused, misplaced. And sometimes you may find exactly the same aspect, so square and square. Then it's like very kind of like similar, repetitive energy. Is the course on the website? I think so, but if you don't see it there, you can text me. I will find it. Not sure. I think it's available now. So yeah, the family astrology is really interesting. Yeah, you need to explore a few charts. It makes it more complicated from this perspective, but also it's more interesting. Mhm. I feel I need to catch up on the things. Yes, of course. You can always rewatch the sessions, and yeah, if you need any personal help, of course, you can always reach out. All right, then. So I want to thank you again for joining me. And I will share with you how we are going to do it again. Probably on Wednesday. We are going to meet and continue. It's my pleasure. Thank you for being here. Have a lovely weekend and see you soon.